Hello, Dad, can you please bring the sample paper books? Please, it's urgent. Mom, can you get the revision notes from my best friend's house? Hey, Arjun, can you send me those important questions over WhatsApp? Dad, where did you keep the sample paper books that you bought? Mummy, where are the revision notes? I can't find them anywhere. Oh, where are the important questions that Arjun sent me over WhatsApp? Oh my God, my exams are next month. I have so many things to study and revise. What should I do? You don't want to be in this situation before your board exams, right? So I'm going to be sharing some secret and practical tips on how you can crack this year's board exams. I'm sure if you apply these techniques, your preparation will be much better and you'll feel more relaxed before your exams. So let's get started. As you know, the CBSE board has released the sample papers for the 2023 board exams. If you haven't seen the sample papers yet, I'll put a link to the board sample papers below. So do check it out. The question paper format this year is different from last year. So it's very important to be familiar with it. Practicing many sample papers is super important so that you get in tune with the exam pattern and you also know how to time yourself during the exam. You don't want to run out of time and not complete your exam, right? Now here's a pro tip on how to use sample papers effectively. Start sample paper practice early. Don't leave it for the last moment before your exams. Let's say you get a book with 10 sample papers for a subject. Practice one sample paper each week. So you're constantly in practice with the board exam format. Time yourself so you can know if you're able to complete the paper in time or where you need to speed up. When you're studying, you know what you need to improve and what to focus on. And every week you will see the improvement. The next sample paper will seem easier to you and that will motivate you to do better. So at the end of 10 weeks, you'll be very confident and more relaxed before your exams. As we discussed, sample paper practice is important, but it's also important to practice good quality sample papers. Sample papers that have good questions and solutions given are correct. Now there are a lot of sample paper books out there. Out of all those books, I would highly recommend the Oswal books CBSE sample question paper books. These books are based on the latest CBSE board sample paper for the 2023 exams. The books have 10 sample question papers including the one issued by the CBSE board. The sample questions are high quality with good answers. The books also have mind maps and quick revision notes. I'll put a link to the Oswal books sample papers below. So do check it out and remember to start sample paper practice early because that's the secret to doing your exams well. Now I'm going to use the CBSE Class 10 Science sample paper issued by the board to discuss some super important tips and strategies on how you can crack your science exam. Please practice these strategies while solving the sample papers and you will see a big improvement in your confidence and your marks. Here's the CBSE board science sample paper. As you can see, it's a 80 marks paper and the time given for you is 3 hours. Now please read these general instructions very carefully. It says that the question paper contains 39 questions in 5 sections. So there are total 5 sections A to E and all questions are compulsory, which means you have to do all the questions, but there are some internal choices are provided in some questions where a student is expected to attempt only one of these questions. So let's understand this instruction very carefully. Because all questions are compulsory, this means you cannot leave any topic or chapter in the syllabus. Please don't expect it to be in a choice because there are only internal choices. Please learn all the topics and chapters. But some questions have an internal choice where you'll see that in a part it is given this question, you have to do this question or that. Now this is where students make this common mistake of attempting both the questions. So you do both the questions and you're hoping the examiner will correct both of them and give you the best marks. But if you were the examiner, would you do that? Obviously not. Why will you work hard and correct both questions? So what they're going to do? They're going to only correct your first question and cancel the second one. And the worst part, you got them irritated. So please guys, please do not make this mistake of attempting both the choices. Select the one which you're confident of, which you find easy, and attempt only one of them. If you get stuck in one, then you can cancel that and do the other one. But please leave only one choice for the examiner to correct. And trust me, I followed the same policy in my class 10 and class 12 board exams. I never attempted any extra question. Rather, I used the extra time to revise what I had done and correct if there were any mistakes. And I got good marks in my board exams. So please trust me and do not attempt extra questions, extra choices. As you can see, the science paper contains 5 sections. Section A has 20 MCQ questions. Section B has 6 very short questions. Then section C has 7 short answer questions. Section D, 3 long answer questions. And then finally your section C has the source based or the case based questions. Now common question the students have is, in what order should I attempt the paper? Should I start from section A or should I do the long answers first? Here's what I recommend. Please go in the same order from section A to section E. Now what are the reasons for this? First is that you will go with the flow of the paper. So you're not having to jump from section to section. You're just following the flow. It's simple and easy. And then the second important reason is, as you can see, section A, the questions are 1 mark each. Section B, they are 2 marks each. Then 3 marks each. Then you have 5 mark questions in section D and 4 mark questions in section E. So clearly you can see the marks are increasing. That means typically the paper is designed to give easy questions first, and the questions typically get a little more difficult or you have to think more for the later part of the paper. So it's always a good idea to start with the easy questions, build up your confidence, and then go to the difficult ones, because you don't want to get worried by starting with the tough questions. So keep it simple, just follow the flow of the paper, and I think you'll do great. Sometimes if you're stuck with a difficult question, don't waste too much time on it. Skip it and come back to it at the end, because you don't want to miss out on some easy questions later if you waste too much time on a single question. So please follow this simple advice and do the paper in its flow. In the science paper, in section A, you have 20 multiple choice questions. Now one nice trick to solve the MCQs is that when you look at the MCQ question, divide it mentally into 2 types. One type is where you have to look at the choices in detail and select the one which is most suitable to that question. And the second type is where it is easier to solve the question first like a normal question and then look at the answer in the choices. So let me explain this with a simple example. So if you look at question 4 in the science paper, the question says, with reference to the 4 gases, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, chlorine and oxygen, which one of the options in the table is correct? So which type of MCQ is this? That's right, where you have to look at the choices. There's nothing much to solve in the question. So you have to see that which choice is the correct one here. So now you can smartly solve and look at it that in acidic oxide, which is my acidic oxide? Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. So clearly we know carbon monoxide is neutral in nature. So this is the wrong option. Carbon dioxide is acidic. So these are correct. Now if you look at what is used in the treatment of water, to purify water. So we know that we use chlorine as a disinfectant. Oxygen, which is dissolved in water as well, clearly is not used for the treatment. Product of respiration. Is it oxygen or carbon dioxide? You guys know that we breathe in oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. So oxygen is the wrong option here. Carbon dioxide is correct. And product of incomplete combustion, which means incomplete burning, we know that the dangerous carbon monoxide gas is released and not carbon dioxide. That is produced during complete combustion. So which row will you select here? Which is all the options correct, and clearly you can see the answer is going to be option number B. So in these types of MCQs, carefully look at the choices, don't jump to some conclusion and select the best answer. Sometimes there are confusions, two answers seem correct, so look at it carefully and choose the most suitable answer. Now let's look at the other type of question where you are really solving the question and then looking at the choices in the MCQs. For that, a good example is question number 2 in the paper. Here it says, in the redox reaction, MnO2 plus HCl gives MnCl2 plus water plus chlorine. You have to decide which substance is reduced and which is oxidized. Because if you look at the choices, they are all asking about that. But don't go into the detail of the choices. It's easier if you solve the question as a normal question. And what is the simple technique? Like I've taught you in the videos, you write down the reaction, MnO2 plus HCl, so you can do this in rough, you don't even have to bother about the balancing, gives MnCl2 plus water plus chlorine. Now what is the trick to understanding what is oxidized and reduced? Draw the arrows. Manganese dioxide is basically changing to MnCl2 and HCl you can see is changing to chlorine in the chemical reaction. So MnO2 goes to MnCl, what has happened to it? Reduction or oxidation? Clearly it is losing oxygen, loss of oxygen, reduction. So let's write that. This is clearly reduction. HCl, when it goes to chlorine, it is losing hydrogen and becoming chlorine. So clearly it is oxidation. So see, you can quickly work out the answer and now go for the correct choice. MnO2 reduced, HCl oxidized. So I'm going to choose the option as option number B. Manganese dioxide reduced to MnCl2, HCl oxidized to chlorine. You can still take a look at the other choices if they make sense, but here you're confident of the answer, so you can directly take it and be done with it. So if you use this trick and mentally divide the MCQs while you're solving them, that should I look at the choices first in detail or should I solve the question, you'll see you'll do them much faster and get them more correct as well. The last 4 questions of section A are assertion reason questions. In assertion reason, these are the 4 choices given to you. Now the simple trick to solving assertion reason questions is first to check if the assertion is true or false, and same is the reason true or false. Only if both are true, then you need to select that if the reason is the correct explanation of A or it is not. But if one of them is false, you don't have to do that. So please use this simple trick and let's go ahead and try it out. So let's see question number 17. Here the assertion is silver bromide decomposition is used in black and white photography. And the reason is light provides energy for this exothermic reaction. Of course, you know the photography these days is all using SD cards, but this is talking back in those film roll days where you had chemicals used for photography. So you guys know that silver bromide is certainly a compound used for black and white photography. So this assertion is basically true. So I'm going to write true here. Next one says the reason is light provides energy for this exothermic reaction. So we definitely know in photography the light is needed. It's a photochemical reaction. But is the reaction exothermic? Exothermic means the reaction gives out heat. We know that this reaction is not exothermic. So therefore the reason is false. So I'm going to write false here. So obviously which option will you select now? Because one is true, one is false, so we don't have to look at the connection. So let's see the options here. We are just going to select A is true, but R is false. The reason is false and we are done. So the answer will be option number C. And we are done. Section B has very short answer questions of 2 marks each. So let's discuss the strategies for this section using question number 21. So here you can see this is our question 21, and clearly you can see this word is written here, or. So remember what I said? Either you attempt this question or this question. Please do not do both. And of course you should read both questions and see which one is easier for you to do. So do that one first. Don't try to do both of them. The first question says, a clear solution of slaked lime is made by dissolving calcium hydroxide in excess of water. This solution is left exposed to air. The solution slowly goes milky as a faint white precipitate forms. Explain why a faint white precipitate forms and support your response with the help of a chemical equation. So it's a big question. You need to understand what's happening and give the reason and the equation. So first, in chemistry, you can start thinking in terms of the equation to see what's the reaction happening here, because observations are always explained based on reaction. So let's write down the equation. So you can see that calcium hydroxide has been formed. So you have a solution of calcium hydroxide. And when it is left exposed to air, some reaction is happening which is giving you a white precipitate. Precipitate means something which is insoluble in water, so it will settle down. Now what do you think in air is reacting with calcium hydroxide? Is it nitrogen, oxygen? No, nitrogen is very unreactive. Oxygen does not react with this base here. So we know calcium hydroxide is a base and alkali. It's going to react with some acidic gas. And what is that acidic gas present in the atmosphere? That's right, carbon dioxide. So calcium hydroxide is going to slowly react with the carbon dioxide in the air to form what? So if you think about it, we have done this reaction, calcium carbonate. So you're going to get calcium carbonate plus water. And who's the white precipitate? It's calcium carbonate, because you know that is like chalk. So it's going to settle down. It's not going to dissolve in water. You can put the down arrow or you can write solid here. It's good to write the states of matter. So here you can say this is an aqueous solution. Carbon dioxide is the gas. This is the solid and water is a liquid here. So there you go. That's our reaction. Make sure it is balanced. You can see 1 calcium, 1 calcium, 1 carbon, 1 carbon. Oxygen is 2 plus 2, 4, 3 plus 1, 4, hydrogen 2, 2, balanced. So we are all good here. Our equation is balanced and we need to explain why. So don't just write the chemical equation, you need to give the reason. So what will be your reason here? So you can say that when it is left exposed to air, so we can say calcium hydroxide reacts with the carbon dioxide. You should write this in words. I'm just writing it in short right now. With the carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere. Right? So please write that in words. Carbon dioxide present in atmosphere to form calcium carbonate and water. Write those compound names again in words. And it is calcium carbonate which is insoluble, which forms the precipitate. So you should say calcium carbonate is insoluble, it's white in color, and it forms the precipitate. So the key thing in a science exam, they're looking for your concepts for the key science terms. Have you used the words precipitate, insoluble, present in atmosphere? Those are the important things. And make sure you write your equation correctly, you balance it, and you should also write the physical states of the substances here. Or this is a good answer for a section B question. So keep it short, not too much in detail, but all the key points are written here. Section C has short answer questions of 3 marks each. So let's look at one of the questions as an example. Question number 30. Rohit wants to have an erect image of an object using a converging mirror of focal length 40 centimeters. And we have been given 3 parts. Specify the range of distance where the object can be placed in front of the mirror and justify. Draw a ray diagram to show the image formation in this case, and state one use of the mirror based on the above kind of image formation. So it's a 3-mark question with 3 parts, so you can think approximately 1 mark for each part. So you don't have to write a lot. but you need to write to the point in science. So first let's analyze and see where, if you have a converging mirror of focal length 40 centimeters, where can you place it to get an erect image? So first of all, which mirror is a converging mirror? You have converging and diverging mirror. So that's right, we are talking about a concave mirror. It has a converging action. It converges the light rays to a point. So clearly we are talking about a concave mirror. Now in concave mirror, if you want an erect image, erect means upright, not upside down. When will you get that? That's right, the case when you bring the object very close to the mirror, or to be more precise, between the pole and the focus, right? So where should you, the range of distance where you can keep the object? The answer is going to be, we can keep it, range is from 0 to the focal length, which is given to us 40 centimeters. And you have to justify, don't forget that. So you must write that we will get an erect image when the object is between pole and focus. Of course, I'm just writing it in short form here, but you should write it clearly in sentence form. Next one, draw a ray diagram to show the image formation in this case. So very important, please draw the diagram carefully, and again remind yourself this is mirror, this is not lens, so don't confuse yourself with lenses. So here what is the case? You will draw your concave mirror and make sure you guys draw the principal axis, and here you can see this is your pole, focus and center of curvature. Make sure these are all equidistant. So if this is 2 centimeters, this should be 2 centimeters, right? So draw a nice well-labeled diagram, and we need to show the image formation here. Keep the object between the pole and the focus, and then please go ahead and draw the ray diagrams where you will follow the light ray rules, light ray parallel to the principal axis, it passes through the focus, and then you can draw another light ray as if it was coming from the center of curvature. After reflection, it will pass through the center of curvature. And then if you produce it backwards, you can see that this is where we get the image. Make sure guys to label the object AB, image is A dash B dash, and label all these points. So that is a well labeled diagram, and don't forget to draw the arrows of the light rays. So you can show some extra arrows here also if you want, but make sure all the arrows are marked and rays that are produced backwards are shown with the dotted line. So draw a nice clean diagram so that the examiner is impressed to see it, well labeled, so that there's no chance of cutting marks on your diagram. And the last one is state one use of the mirror in this kind of image formation. One use, don't write 2 or 3 uses. Whatever is the best use, where is it used? You guys know, shaving mirror, makeup mirror, or used by the dentist, just write one of them. So let's say I write, because I use the mirror for that, for shaving my beard, so I am going to write shaving mirror here. Section D has long answer questions of 5 marks each. Now don't get scared when you see those 5 marks, because most of these questions are divided into parts. So you're not expected to write a big essay like in a social science exam. You need to, these questions are more of, thinking, and since they're broken down into parts, you have to solve each part. So let's look at question number 34. Here again, you can see there's a choice of an or, okay? But here I'll be choosing only the first option. Just to remind you, you should answer only one question, whichever one you're comfortable with. So make sure you guys read both the questions. So here the first question, we are going to attempt this one. Ready? Let's try it out. So the first question says, Shrishti heated ethanol with a compound A in the presence of a few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid and observed the sweet smelling compound B is formed. When B is treated with sodium hydroxide, it gives back ethanol and a compound C. So this is a very important type of question where you need to be a science detective and find out who's this ABC or write down the reactions. So one very smart technique of solving these kind of questions is work like a detective. You have been given all these clues, so write it down. So just like, Sherlock Holmes, the detective Sherlock Holmes writes notes, you should also write it down. So what will you write here? Ethanol is heated with a compound A. So I'm going to write ethanol. The formula is C2H5OH plus compound A in the presence of a few drops of concentrated sulfuric acid. So we're going to write all our clues over here and make it really easy. We get a sweet smelling compound B. So I'm going to write B, and this is a sweet smell. Now when B is treated with sodium hydroxide, so you take back that B here, you don't know who is B. When it is treated with sodium hydroxide, it gives back ethanol. Ethanol is ethyl alcohol. So it gives back ethanol and another compound C. Please guys, write it like this. This will make your detective work much easier. Now you go ahead and solve. You need to identify A and C. So what do you think is this A over here? The moment, see, the best clue is if you read that word sweet smell, what are you guys thinking about? That's right, it's going to be an ester. What is esterification reaction? When alcohol reacts with the carboxylic acid, we know it gives a sweet smelling compound ester, and of course water. So they didn't mention water, so you can write that, you can add that there. So clearly what is A? We can say A is a carboxylic acid. Not any acid, carbon containing acid, right? Which has COOH. So one example of it would be acetic acid, ethanoic acid. So I can write that here. And what is B? B is definitely going to be the ester then, plus water. So we'll also get water. This sweet smell is due to an ester being formed. And if you take this ester back and you react it, you're going to get the alcohol plus C. So first let's find out what is our B going to be so that we can plug it in here. So when you guys do this reaction, so you should take a specific example like acetic acid here. How do you do this? Very simple technique. You know that sulfuric acid is acting like a dehydrating agent. It is going to remove this OH and H. That will form your water. So I just need to play Lego. I'll just join these two and I will get the ester C3COO C2H5. Who's this guy? Ethyl ethanoate, the ester. So we are going to plug it in over here. CH3COO C2H5. And again, you can easily solve this. Of course, don't show all these secret tricks. You can do it in pencil and erase it, but you can follow, this plus minus technique. Break the compound here, and you will get ethyl alcohol. See, these two guys join to give you ethyl alcohol and sodium acetate. That's it. So we'll write that as CH3CONA. So see, we acted like a science detective and we have solved the mystery. Now you can easily answer the parts, right? So you have identified A and C, acetic acid here, or you can say any carboxylic acid, and C is sodium ethanoate or sodium acetate, and give one use of A and B. So what is the use of A? What is acetic acid used in? Very good, vinegar. So it is used to, in cooking of food or pickling of, used in the pickles. You can write that. And what is the use of B? B is a sweet smelling ester. It is used for flavoring agent or used in perfumes. Perfumes have that nice sweet smell or fruity smell. So which is used as a flavoring agent. You can write that and write the chemical reactions involved and name the reactions. So make sure you guys write this. So you have written the reactions. Now can you please write down its names? What is the name of this reaction? This reaction is called esterification, very famous reaction. So let's write this down, esterification reaction. And what is the name of the second reaction? Sodium hydroxide plus an ester. So this is called saponification. It is used in preparation of soap. This is called saponification reaction, where you get the sodium salts which are used as soaps. So this is how you do a 5-mark question. You can see main thing was the thinking time here, then writing down the reactions. It's not a big huge essay that you need to write because you need time to think. That's why it's a 5-mark question, and make sure you write down the answers of all the parts. Section E has case-based or database questions of 4 marks each. I love this section because these are very practical based questions, and our videos also are very practical based, because as you know, our mission at Manocha Academy is to relate your studies to your practical life so that you can learn every day from your everyday life. Which reminds me, do check out our website manochaacademy.com or our Android app. I'll put the links below. Okay, let's get back to solving this paper. So here's question number 39 as a sample from section E. So you can see all these interesting pictures are given, and you are seeing that this is a slide projector. So it says that the above images are that of a specialized slide projector, and it gives all the description about the slides. And here it says some important clues are that you can see enlarged and erect images of transparent slides. This means that the slides will have to be inserted upside down in the projector tray. So these are those old slide projectors that if you put the slide front, then the image which is projected is upside down. So you need to put the slide inverted. And now here it says the question, to show her students, the teacher Mrs. Iyer, she brought a slide projector to the lab, and her slide projector produced a 500 times enlarged and inverted image of the slide on the screen, which is 10 meters away. So you can see some important clues are given. 500 times means it's a magnified image. It is an inverted image, and the screen is 10 meters away. Screen means it's a real and inverted image. So let's see what are the questions here. Part A says, based on the text and data given in the paragraph, what kind of lens, note it's saying lens, not mirror, must be used in the slide projector. So which type of lens will form an enlarged and inverted image? Is it a convex lens or concave lens? That's right, the answer is convex lens here. So this one, the answer is going to be convex lens, and you can give the reason because convex lens can form inverted and magnified images. Concave lens always forms diminished and upright images, right? So this is very important. Next one, if V is the symbol used for the image distance and U is used for object distance, then with one reason state what will be the sign of V by U in the given case. So they are basically asking you the sign for V by U. So we know that object distance is always negative. And here what about the image distance? Image is forming an inverted image with a convex lens. So clearly the image is on the right side of the lens, object is on the left side. So image distance is positive. By sign convention this is negative. So you can give the reason that image is on the right, so positive image distance, and object is on the left, negative. So the final sign is going to be negative. Done. Now look here, in section C you have a choice. See, it says C or C, you have to choose one of these. One question involves doing a numerical, other one involves drawing a ray diagram. So you can do whichever one you're more comfortable with. Are you more comfortable with solving lens sums or drawing a ray diagram? Always attempt the one which you're comfortable with. If you get stuck, you always have an option. Friends, hope you found the tips and strategies in this video useful. Remember that sample paper practice is super important. So get started early. And do check out the Oswald books sample papers. I'll put the links below. And please hit the like and subscribe button for our YouTube channel, and do share out this video with your friends. And do check out our website manochaacademy.com and our Android app. We have full courses on physics, chemistry, biology, maths and computer coding. In our courses you'll get live classes, interactive videos, quizzes, questions, mock tests and revision notes. So do check it out, links are given below. And here's wishing you all the best with your exam preparation. Go and crack your board exams.